Hello and welcome to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I'll be going over whether or not you should buy Ninja on Roblox and some information about the game before you buy it, in case you plan to, so you know what you're getting into. Make sure to subscribe since only about 20% of the people watching right now are actually subscribed. Also, if this video does well, the devs might give me some recs, so I'll recommend some of you guys to get into the game for free as a giveaway. So drop a like and comment and finish the video, so that way I can do that if I win. Now let's get straight into it. First of all, Ninja is Cetro's new game, in collaboration with a new development team after his removal from the TypeSoul development team. In the future, it is likely to have mobile and console support, but right now it is only for PC players. Now first of all, the game is going for two prices, so don't write it off immediately when you hear the first one. Currently, for closed community access, you can get into the game for $100 US. Quite the steep price for a Roblox game, I know. However, that is just the current price at $100. They're doing a similar model to Jujutsu Infinite, where once the game is closer to release, they'll be selling early access with less benefits, but for a much lower price, probably closer to around $15 to $30. Some of you may hear that and still think it's a bit overpriced for a Roblox game, but I don't think you guys should be saying that because I don't think Roblox games should be a category of its own thing when games of high quality exist on Roblox. I think $15 to $20 is a fair price for this game, honestly. It is also important to mention that the game isn't currently open all the time. The game will be open at certain times, and then during that time, the ability to play it if you're currently under the closed community part of it. But soon the game will be freely open at any time, which is probably going to be before they even release the early access. So if you pay $100, you'll probably still get to play the game like 3 months earlier and whenever you want before everyone else. But right now, if you want to play it, you gotta wait a bit for testing times to open up. As for the game, unlike TypeSoul, it will have detailed PvE and PvP elements. It is also a permadeath game, which I'll talk more about that in detail later in the video near the end. The PvE seems to be way better than TypeSoul's already, with actual enemy variety and reason to engage in the PvE. The game itself seems closer to Deepwoken than TypeSoul in terms of its combats, but it is definitely non-stun combat, where there really aren't many, if any, true combos, with moves in the game making the PvP reliant on mix-ups and outplaying and predicting your opponent. Along with this, the game is much slower than TypeSoul, so it is clearly more inspired by Deepwoken if anything, as it does actually have flash steps as well as normal dodges and more realistic movement, but the flash steps are generally pretty short in range and really just provide a longer dash opposed to TypeSoul's flash steps, which are your main combat mobility option. The developers claim that the game is inspired by Assassin's Creed, Ninja Gaiden, and Hell's Paradise, while being aesthetically apparent of modern and feudal Japan during their Industrial Revolution, leaning for a more realistic fantasy feel for the game rather than anything directly anime-based, making a much more original concept. One of the more important things to note, however, is the Ninja Gaiden and Assassin's Creed inspiration. The game has detailed stealth mechanics that are meant to be used in missions for PvE and PvP. This means most missions will have multiple potential routes depending on if your playstyle is more stealth-based or if you would rather just run in and kill everything you see if you're strong enough. The stealth is actually very interesting to me because the map is very large, and as we can see in the Shadow Summit mission, there is really no incentive to fight enemies if you don't want to, and you can completely clear a mission without even killing things if you were to just sneak past everything. I'll talk more about stealth later, but the game's advanced combat features are also very detailed as well and somewhat similar to Deepwoken. There is uppercutting for combo starting, and if you jump M1 after hitting someone, it will initiate a down slam, which is another form of combo starting. Running jump M1s will make you do a drop kick, which can be used as a combo starter and initiator move, and jumping with M2 counters people in the air, such as during a drop kick. There's also a counter button with X, but that's more of like a super tight window in comparison to a parry, but it's supposed to be higher reward. The game also features unblockable and maybe undodgeable attacks to aid in mix-ups and combos. The game has a lot of advanced combat controls and movement, which are going to be really cool. And since all of this adds more layers of skill to the game, you'll be able to leverage certain environments in your favor as you kick off walls to combo start against people and stuff like that, which I personally love movement options in video games, and Ninja does not lack movement options. In fact, it has a lot of them, with wall climbing, wall jumping, short range flash steps, different dodges, and much more options for movement that make the game look extremely fun to mess around with. Like, you can just glide around and fly when falling like you have a wingsuit on. It's really cool. And the game also seems to have a lot of different types of missions from what we've seen in games so far. There's invasion style missions like the Shadow Summit mission, in which you have to like sneak around in a palace and steal a legendary scroll. There's also the Executioner's mission, which I've seen, in which you need to make your way to an execution ground to execute a criminal. While going there, you need to make sure rival guards and ninjas don't save the criminal, as you need to execute him. And one big thing we see in Ninja that isn't in Cetro's last game, TypeSoul, is a tutorial. The game has an actual tutorial mission, which is amazing, because TypeSoul is kinda impossible to learn without a Trello or YouTube guide. Along with that, we have seen publicly, at least, 2 different types of elemental awakenings, which the elements are known as Tau. Within the game, there are elemental abilities under the Tau, such as Fire, Water, Lightning, and Shadow, and probably more, but I have not seen all of them yet, and there's going to be a lot of them. And these abilities come with awakenings, which seem to be like the apex of Tau, which is pretty cool. Anyway, there are also a lot of weapon variety in this game. We've seen swords, daggers, fists, sai, which are probably just dagger-type weapons, staffs, nunchucks, and more. We also know that there will likely be a ranked 1v1 mode, and if there isn't one, well, there was one in testing from what I saw on something. So if it's not in-game, it got removed. But knowing Cetro, though, there's probably going to be some sort of ranked 1v1 mode, because I'm pretty sure he really likes arena-style stuff. I've been talking a lot about the PvP, but now let's cover the PvE, since this should be a big selling point for a lot of you, since the PvE in this game looks amazing. The PvE, first of all, there's a lot of enemy variety, from Royal Guards seen in the Shadow Summit, to Rogue Ninjas who jump you if you have like a high bounty, to this monkey boss that probably teaches you like something or drops something on death. It's a monkey with swords, and that's one of the bosses in the game. That's cool as fuck. Regardless, the PvE and AI are really good. Rather than 3 enemies jumping you at once like you've seen in maybe Blox Fruits, the AI on enemies seems to prioritize the enemies surrounding you to sneak your bitch ass. No, I'm joking. They try and set you up for combos, which is really cool. The AI in this game properly coordinates to jump you, and I think that's actually amazing. It's really well done. They'll actively try to end combos with moves that send you to the other NPCs in order to try and get you in combos, which is really cool. I keep saying it's cool because it's really cool. Now, I mentioned this briefly earlier, but yes, the game is permadeath. There is a death counter we can see in many sneaks showing as high as 8 or 9 deaths on any given sneak, and because of this, I think there is some sort of white protocol or world associated with near 9 or 10 deaths. But the permadeath is working like one of my favorite games ever, Sifu. The way it works is that per death you gain age. You start at 15 and the maximum age is 99. As your age goes up, your health decreases, but you get a small damage multiplier, so the older you are, the more damage you do, but the less health you have, making you more of a glass cannon, so it could be used for builds and stuff if you wanted to do that. And if it's anything like Sifu, then you will die if you go past age 99, and that's when you will wipe. There will be ways to clear these deaths and lower your age though, although we don't know it just yet. Along with this, that really adds a reason to use the stealth mechanics when you're a lower level and when you're weaker, because you can likely clear any given mission with stealth if you play it right regardless of your strength level, especially because PvP is going to be another way to progress within this game. On gripping a player, you steal their EXP, so it gives incentive for players to attack each other. Overall, the game is looking amazing, the map is great so far, the PvP looks amazing. Actually, honestly, the PvP looks alright, the PvP is a real highlight for me though. And even the particle effects make me want to give Cetro a good time tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Shoutouts to Jake, Kennick, Cyberboy21, and Drizzy Drake fan, and Large Man. I love you all. If you're gonna buy the game, let me know. If you're not, just make sure to subscribe. I'll be doing a giveaway with some Rex. I get at least one anyway, so I'll probably just give that one away to some of you guys or something. But if I win this competition, I will do a recommendation giveaway and get some of you into the game. I love you all, and goodbye.